Hi, I'm Brian Mai, and in this video, I'll be briefly talking about the history of Japanese soft power and its impact on the United States. So what is soft power? Soft power refers to a country's ability to influence other countries through the appeal of its culture and values. Japan is a good example of a country with very strong soft power through pop culture with stuff like anime and games, food culture, tourism, and consumer products like electronics and automobiles. The positive reputation of these products can in turn help create a positive global view of Japan. This can be beneficial politically and economically, although it can also be used to mask social injustice, such as the exploitation of workers in labor and talent-intensive industries. One difference between the work culture of Japan and the United States is that Japan often places heavier emphasis on loyalty and expectations of long working hours, but working conditions in the US are not exactly better. Many American workers also face issues like inability to find work, low wages, and low job security, although US culture does encourage changing employers if salary and work-life balance is not satisfactory. With that in mind, I will now go back to Japanese soft power. So a little about me, since this is kind of an excuse to talk about stuff I like. I am a pretty frequent consumer of Japanese media, and it is my primary source of entertainment. These works tend to resonate with me a lot, and have been formative due to their presence in my childhood. Despite this, I grew up in America and I have no Japanese ancestry. So how and why exactly did Japanese culture and entertainment become so influential among youth in other countries? The global proliferation of Japanese culture and entertainment is recognizably an intentional effort involving decades of cultural investment. Many Japanese cultural products are catered towards both domestic and Western markets. Japan's major export-focused economy today finds its roots in the Reconstruction period following World War II. Japan formally surrendered on September 2, 1945, and the following US-led Allied occupation of Japan under General Douglas MacArthur had a large impact on Japan's political system, economy, and global image. There were two major goals of the occupation: demilitarization and democratization. Before, Imperial Japan was often viewed as a nationalistic, authoritarian state, and demilitarization created a peaceful, pacifist image of Japan that would encourage more creative expression due to less fear of censorship. US-led occupation also brought some political reforms that intended to reinforce Western values of democracy, such as establishing a new constitution that guaranteed certain civil rights, such as speech, assembly, due process, and gender equality. Similar to the US, even though these rights became part of the law, many of them remain subjects of ongoing debate and struggle today. Japan's new global image following the war set the foundation for the pop culture explosion and the Cool Japan movement that began in the 1980s. The government and industry leaders began to recognize the importance of positive nation branding and intentionally invested in sectors like animation, fashion, and games to reinforce the global belief that Japan has become a cool, creative, and technologically advanced nation. Because of this investment in products focused on exportation, Japanese entertainment soon entered the American mainstream and became an important part in the childhoods of many millennials and Gen Z, including myself. The internet especially had an extremely important role in allowing Japanese culture to spread to foreign countries, but I think how obvious that is heavily depends on one's interests. When we encounter Japanese media in the US today, it can be easy to dismiss it as too engineered, too hyper-appealing, and almost begging for global attention. But in my opinion, it is important to recognize that the history behind Japan's soft power doesn't make cultural appreciation any less authentic or meaningful.